everyone, welcome to the Meridian Learning and Development Hangout with Fistful of Talent. I'm Allison and I am with Meridian. And today on our panel today we're going to be talking about corporate universities. And on our panel we have Kris Dunn, CHRO of Kinetics and founder of Fistful of Talent, and Ginger Knighton, who is the training guru at Kinetics. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Awesome.
Doing good, Allison.
What?
I said we're doing good. I like that version of flannel you've got on today.
Oh, thank you. It's a new flannel. So
I know, it's kind of like new age, like Pearl Jam. I like it.
All right, let's get started. So why don't we start off with a simple question? You can go with it. Let's start with the definition. What is a corporate university?
Hey, so I'll jump in and just say, hey, to me, a corporate university means that you're trying to become a little bit more formal and structured with what you do from a learning and development perspective. Trying to put some structure in so you can actually show content paths and things that people want to achieve within your learning and development function. I've seen them done in a variety of ways. I've seen big companies with big spins do them, and I've seen companies with as few as like 100 people trying to accomplish the same thing. But I think it's just something that gives some structure to your learning development. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and at the end you want people to feel like they're achieving something when they use your learning and development function, however it's structured. Ginger, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. The definition is a little slippery since it doesn't really give degrees, or it's not conventional universities. But it's exactly what Kris said. It helps streamline goals given by usually the parent organization, fosters individual and learning knowledge throughout the rest of the organization.
All right, that sounds good. So now that we have it defined, why would an organization want to do a corporate university instead of just the traditional, learning development function?
Hey, Ginger, we'll trade off. I'll let you go first.
I was just about to jump in.
Good.
So this, I think, is a really great question because I think a lot of people don't really understand what the purpose is. We'll put a fancy little seal on it and call it a university. But what it really means is we're trying to bring common culture to the organization. It helps foster loyalty. It does do a lot of the organizing of the training and gives real consistent experiences, which in turn will give consistent results for whatever initiative you might be trying to push. So I think that's really why a company would want to do a corporate university. If there's a big initiative or we want to have commonality between the staff, this university can help with that as long as bringing camaraderie as well.
So, and I'll flip it around, and Ginger and I come to this from like different angles. So I would tell you that, like, as a talent leader, like probably the most important reason you'd want to do a corporate university is really to do a better job of marketing what your offerings are. So, I've been in situations and certainly had some peers that have done nothing with learning and development. I've had some peers that have done like some really good things with learning and development, but maybe they don't get the credit they should. And what I love about a corporate university and calling it that is that just that structure allows people to get their heads around what you're trying to provide from a learning development perspective. I think one of the things that's interesting is, people like myself, people like Ginger, I think you have to be careful if you're gonna bandy that term out there, like to say, hey, we're doing a corporate university, because if you simply do business as you've always done it and you don't do some of the things that Ginger's mentioned already, just calling it a corporate university doesn't make it one, and it probably doesn't live up to the promise that you've kind of implied by kind of reframing it. So, like, if you don't have a corporate university now and you research it and you want to launch one, what I would tell everybody is there's a marketing angle to that. But if you're gonna seize the day and like go to that marketing angle, you've really got to be sure that you deliver it, and you deliver on all those promises, and you have people who can select courses and kind of like take a path and become better. And if you simply call it a corporate university, you can get in some trouble. So I think first and foremost, I think about it as a marketing opportunity, but then as Ginger well knows, because she's in learning development, that's all she does. You've really got to deliver on that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Ginger, do you have anything to add to this? I think she might be frozen.
Well, we'll let Ginger come back in when she unfreezes. I would guarantee you. So, like me as an HR leader, Ginger as a training development professional, I guarantee you, Ginger's seen in her career, Allison, people like me who will say, "Good news, we're doing a corporate university," and then we flip it over to Ginger to figure it out, and it just implies a lot. So I love the concept, but you've got to make sure that you do your research and that when you launch it, people actually see a change and it delivers on some of the things that you need.
Okay, awesome. Well, that kind of leads into my next question, which is, what are some of the areas of training a corporate university should be segmented by?
Okay, and we'll see if we've got Ginger back yet. I've got a feeling that we don't.
Yeah.
You know, I think ways that people get their head around, like what type of areas should a corporate university kind of go after. You know, first of all, you want to think, in my eyes, just as an HR professional, you want to think about first what is kind of the core positions that makes your business run. So, for example, at Kinetics, we're a recruiting company, so obviously any type of play at a corporate university would have to be really revolving around recruiters who fill positions for our clients. If you look at a place that really, like, let's take Zappos, for example, right? Well, Zappos is really built on customer service, so any type of corporate university they would do really has to be in line with the people that are getting the majority of the work done. In that case, it'd be customer service reps that are manning the call center. So I think you want to think every company has, right, Allison? Every company has like 50 to 60% of their positions that are really kind of in 3 or 4 like key tracks. And you want to make sure that the corporate university takes care of those people. I think, you know, we'll probably talk about some of the OD ramifications in the next 10 minutes, but I think when you think about things like career paths, and you think about the different levels of some of those core positions, like the entry-level person, how do you get to the level 2, the level 3? Well, a corporate university, by its very nature, should help people gain the knowledge that they need to go along with the experience they need to, if not self-promote, be ready for promotion as they go from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 and so on. You want that education that a corporate university can provide to stack up with the experience and prepare them for what's next. So I think kind of those core positions is the first place that you look. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. But I think we lost Ginger, so I'm gonna have to put you on the spot for a few more questions.
No, you're good. But let me keep going. Let me keep going because there's more, Allison. Right?
Fabulous.
I think the other thing you want to do is you can talk about, you know, you'd always you get away from what is my job and how can I prepare for the next job. The other thing you want to do is you probably get away from skill training that would be the majority of that, and you want to talk about professional development training, right? So when you think about professional development, you think about, hey, maybe I need presentation skills to go in the next role. Maybe it's not all product knowledge and how to do specific job A or specific job B. You want some professional skills that are going to complement what they're learning on the job and what you need them to do to kind of take them to the next level. Now it looks like we've got Ginger back. I'll throw it to her. The other thing that I always, I think people forget about is really kind of manager of people training. Mm-hmm. So whether people are preparing for that track or you've got your folks who manage people, you want to provide like a separate track for that as well. Ginger, welcome back.
Sorry about that. The signal completely dropped on me.
Hey, so we're kind of, Ginger, I'll get your take on this. We're kind of talking about areas that you would want to build a corporate university around. And kind of where I went was I said, hey, think about the core positions that really get the majority of work done in your company. And obviously, you want to do some skill-based things to help there. You want professional development classes to kind of augment that. And then the last thing I came up with that you want to build a corporate university around was really kind of training for managers of people. So with kind of that backdrop, that's where I've been. Like, you can comment on any of those or you can bring other ideas in.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely the leadership management is something that you really want to base a lot of that around. That's a great place to start, I think, for individuals that want to take a stab at a corporate university for the first time, because that's always a growing need for any organization. Sort of another thing that you want to keep in mind are what are specifics to your culture that is always going to be a need. For example, in past organizations, change management would probably something I would want to include in that, or build change management, project management around. If you're in a fast-growing, always changing company, you want to make sure that all the individuals coming in and out of that university are really up to date and knowledgeable about what this process is to get things going within the organization to help keep that company moving forward. At the end of the day, that's sort of where the universities strive for, is to help move that company forward.
Fantastic. So my next question is, what are some other aspects of OD that are enhanced by a corporate university structure?
Hey, Ginger, while you were away, I kind of mentioned one that automatically came to mind, and that was just career pathing, right? So if you think about some of the core entry-level positions and non-entry level, if you think about level 1, level 2, level 3, from an OD kind of HR perspective, if you've established those career paths, then it's really easy for, a corporate university to kind of think about that OD structure and help deliver on what people need, if not to self-promote, then to be prepared for promotion as we move forward. And I'll throw it to you with that one in mind.
Yeah, I really agree with that, especially if you're moving within the ranks. So if you're within the same department, it's a whole different world from being an individual contributor to a manager. So needing to have the understanding of what goes on behind the scenes from being in that now leadership role is going to be extremely important. How do I communicate to these individuals? It's going to be different than how I've communicated to them in the past. How do I push initiatives? How do I influence others? That's what's going to help you be successful in that new leadership role. If you aren't set up for that and you go immediately day one from individual contributor to a manager of a department, you're not going to end up being that successful. So it's really important to make sure that you understand inside and out how that particular department works from start to finish.
And another one I would add, Allison, is, and Ginger's kind of between career pathing and kind of where I'm going next. I would say OD things like succession planning. Like anytime a company does a succession planning book, and we say, hey, who's available for all of these managerial slots? I mean, usually that comes with assessments in terms of where people are strong and where they've got some developmental opportunities, and a corporate university's got to be ready. And I think Ginger's kind of alluding to this, even though she didn't say succession planning. She was talking about leadership positions. So when you think about succession planning, it's a great place for an L&D leader, an L&D department to say, hey, I can plug this in, and we've got ready-made courses. And what's interesting is you may develop them in-house, you may go outside. There's a lot of different ways to build that corporate university to say, hey, we can fit this need, and succession planning is kind of another way to do that.
Fantastic. All right, so next up we're going to talk money. From a budget perspective, what do you need to make a corporate university run?
So I would ask the question, what do you have to spend? Like, what can you actually budget? I think a lot of people that are listening to this would say, well, I don't have a budget currently. So one of the places I would always go, a great place to look, is you could look at like providers like Burson and Associates who do some good research to talk about, like, per employee, what is the average annual spend in corporate America on learning and development, right? So that's a great place to get, probably for many of us, an outlandish figure for what the budget should be. And it's like, I have this long experience to say that sometimes it's easier to get funded, to get started with something like a corporate university. Sometimes it's easier, if you've got a sponsor at the executive level, to get that done with no budget and just like have a sponsor that will go find money and help you get it approved, than to actually have like a very small budget. Ginger, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, and definitely coming from the training and development world, sometimes the budget is nobody really knows where that money comes from. It just kind of appears in certain places. So I think figuring out where those monies are going to come from. Is it individual business units that are going to utilize these learnings? So I think that's the first place to start. And then also, as best as individuals have done tracking learning in the past, average of how much is.
You're cutting a little in and out. I hope we didn't lose you because I know you really want to talk about this.
Yeah, and I think the summary, Allison, is you need to identify some budget, but if you don't have budget, you can still get started. And I think some of our final questions will probably address that.
Well, I think there, a lot of corporate universities, you hear of, big corporations, the Fortune 100s, Fortune 500s have these corporate universities. But what if you're just a small organization exploring the option? How do you get started with that concept and finding budget for that?
Well, I think, again, the best thing people can do that are in that situation is find an executive sponsor that really wants it. So that's why I think it's important when you think about things like succession planning. I think you need to find a sponsor who's really passionate about an area where a corporate university can plug in. So, for example, it might be succession planning. It might be career pathing. Like, for example, succession planning, you might find somebody at the C-level who really has a passion for that based on their background. Well, the good news is that if that's the case, they're probably well-positioned to help carve out a spend to help on the learning and development side, right? And you can say, hey, corporate university, here's my strategic plan. We're going to do a little bit of it in-house, and we're going to make available some external courses, and we're going to mash it all together, and this is going to help you with your succession planning needs. Now, on the flip side of that, you might have somebody, if you're a retail organization, you might have an executive who is responsible operationally for running the retail operation. You might have huge call centers in your company, and both of those people are going to be thinking about career pathing, right? So that's a great opportunity to develop a corporate university that can help people develop their skills to move into the next role wherever they're at in that career path, and then also do some of those professional development courses that helps them with the soft skills to not only go up in that career path, but ultimately to manage people in a retail environment or a call center environment based on those two examples. So I always say you may not be a huge company with that type of spend. That's okay. What you want to do is go find a sponsor who has a need and is really passionate about some type of OD thing going on in your company where a corporate university can plug in. They can help you get the money. That's usually the best path.
Fantastic. I think that we're getting Ginger back on. So
sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here.
It's too funny because you guys are in the same office building.
I know. I don't understand.
Kris and I were just discussing, even if it's a lot of corporate universities are run by big Fortune, 100, 500 organizations. What if you're a small organization that, wants to start a corporate university? And he was mentioning that the best probably approach would be getting that executive sponsor who's passionate about it. I know that this was a topic that you really wanted to discuss. So do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, and I'm really glad that Kris said that because that was exactly the direction that I was going to go in with this particular question, is having that individual that's really passionate about where this particular university wants to go. And again, you don't have to be tied to the definitions of what a corporate university is either. This could be something that's not as big as the McDonald's Hamburger University. That's a 130,000 square foot building. I mean, that's not going to be obtainable for thousands of different companies. So making sure that that's not the expectations that you have in mind. The expectations are set properly within the culture. And then also just thinking about how you want to utilize your in-house resources. That can help really stretch the budget and the dollars as well. Utilizing subject matter experts. Most people that are really knowledgeable about information are really happy to talk about it and spread that knowledge of others. So that's going to also help sort of build that rapport and sort of bring that really neat aspect, like Apple's corporate university has Yale and Harvard professors that come in and actually speak to some of these topics. So if you're bringing in executives into some of the training programs, that sort of helps build the clout and get the buy-in from the participants as well, and sort of makes it a little bit more exclusive to them also. So it kind of gives that big university feel, but kind of staying within the budget constraints.
Fantastic. We're coming up at the end of the hangout, but I wanted to see if you guys had any final comments that you wanted to add or last remarks.
You know, my final comment is, like, I love the concept of a corporate university. I love the marketing power of that, and I think both Ginger and I have hit on it. You know, you don't have to be Apple to get something done. I think what you've got to do is you've got to identify what a need is, and then you've got to do a good job talking to people about how you can help them. Start small. Start with, like, one section of the company. Do it the way you think it could be done on a broader basis, but do that small section very well, and then build from there.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. For those smaller organizations, you know, you've got to get the buy-in and influence those individuals that have the purse strings. So really focus on what that area is going to be. Make sure it's replicable as well. That's what's really going to help make it sustainable. And make sure it's consistently updated with the new trends with learning and development as well. And that will help get you a real successful university.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much. I think you've covered a lot of really valuable information, and until next time, talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Allison.